Hi guys, this is Ranjit and finally we have the Pixel 6a. So we'll be doing the unboxing and I'll give you my initial impressions about this. And guys, I'll divide this video into two parts. The first part would be the unboxing and the second part would be my initial impressions after using this smartphone for a day or two. This is not a full review. My full review will come on later on. And as you can see guys, this is the Pixel 6a. And guys, this is a review unit. So as of now, I do not know the pricing, but I feel the pricing will be slightly on the higher side because this is actually here in the tiny font. It says it's not actually made in India. It's actually imported. It's made in Vietnam. So apart from GST, there will be import taxes, etc. So I'm just guessing the price might be close to around 40,000. I hope it is lower, but that's what I'm expecting. So this is a Pixel 6a, and guys, the box is pretty tiny. So what does that mean? That means there won't be any chargers. Sad trend, but yeah, looks like that. So this is the device itself. So here it is, and this is actually pretty compact, guys. This is having a 6.1 inch screen, so not that massive 6.5, 6.7 inch screens that we have. So again, so that's what we have, just the USB Type-C cable, and we are getting an adapter also. Okay, so that's at least something, I would say, concession. And it says Google Tensor over here. So SIM ejector tool is over here, and a small, actually couple of booklets on this one. So that's what we have. So yeah, basic stuff over here. So let me keep these things to the side and let's have a look at the handset itself. And again, pretty compact, guys, having a 6.1 inch screen, which is again a OLED screen, but this is just a 60 Hz screen, not that 120 or even a 90 Hz. Build quality, guys, solid, feels premium. This is metal, and again, very solid build quality. So that feels actually premium, guys, to hold. And we have a secondary noise cancellation microphone, antenna bands, and this is also having a 5G support, guys. And here is the power on off button and volume rocker, and bottom will be your speakers, and this one is having stereo speakers. We'll look at it. How is the performance? USB Type-C port, which is actually this supports power delivery charging up to 18 watts. So fast charging is there technically, but only 18 watts, guys, power delivery. So here is the SIM eject. What do you say? Your SIM card will go in over here. And it's just a single nano SIM, guys, not a dual nano SIM. So one nano SIM and one eSIM, just be aware. And back, if you look at it, we have the dual camera setup. The main camera is a 12.2 megapixel, and again, we have 12 megapixel, that's ultra wide. The primary camera is having optical image stabilization. The front facing camera is 8 megapixel on this one. So let me do one thing. Let me actually set this up. So guys, I have set up this Pixel 6a. In fact, this is the next day. So I've used it for a day and also taken some camera samples. So we'll look at all that. And by the way, guys, again, this is still the initial first impressions. This is no way a review. My review will come out later, maybe next week or something like that. I want to just use this a little bit more. But first, let me give you what did I feel about this one. And the first thing that I noticed when I started using this phone is, again, the build quality, guys. The build quality is fabulous on this one. It just feels premium, feels like a flagship, to be frank. And in fact, the back feels like glass. It attracts a lot of fingerprints, but guys, this is not glass, this is plastic, but just feels like glass. So in terms of build quality and everything, they have done a good job. Even this OLED screen that they have is actually a pretty good quality one. But the only con, as I've told you, this is a regular 60 Hz screen. And I've been using a lot of phones lately with 120 Hz. So definitely I did notice that while scrolling and moving within the UI during the first couple of hours, but now it's okay. But again, if you're coming from 120 Hz or something, you will notice it. They should have gone at least with the 90 Hz screen. But nevertheless, I'm liking the in-hand feel of the smartphone. It just fits in your hand, and the power button is here. So naturally your fingerprint goes over here, and it has an in-display fingerprint scanner. And as you can see, that works very, very well. No issues. And another thing that I liked on this one is the haptic feedback. Feels like the regular premium Pixel smartphones. Excellent haptic feedback. I have to say, one of the best haptic feedbacks in this price range. Earlier I was saying that nothing phone has very good haptic feedback, but this one has even better haptic feedback. Next thing that I really liked and I was amazed on this one is the stereo speaker loudness. If I go to copyright free music and just notice, I'm going to increase the volume. This is the max. The stereo separation is amazing. Let me just block this coming from you, sir. So the stereo, it's actually really loud for what do you say, smartphone in this range. And also there is that slight depth in the stereo speakers that's generally not found in a lot of mid-range smartphone. And definitely stereo speakers are better than the nothing phone. So it feels they haven't done any cost cutting or cut any cost. It just feels very premium. Again, as it's a Pixel smartphone, very stock like experience, obviously stock. And again, no bloatware or anything. Guys, these are some of the apps that I have installed because I'm actively testing it. I've even put my Airtel primary SIM on this one. But again, very clean experience that you are getting on this one. Now, if we'll talk about what you get in this one, again, there's only one variant of this smartphone. So it comes with 128 gigabytes of storage. RAM, I'm not worried at all. It comes with 6 gigabytes of RAM. In fact, here are all the specs for this specific smartphone so that you can check out all the details. But storage can be an issue if you're a very heavy user. I've installed some apps, but if you don't install even any app, already 15 gigabytes of space is sort of used. So again, for very heavy users, storage can be an issue because you get only in one variant. Now let's talk about the processor, because this is having the Google's own Tensor processor with the Titan M2 chip for security. This is actually the same chipset they're using in the Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro. This is the flagship chipset, what it has. Indirectly, this chipset is a variant of the Exynos 2100 with Google flavor, Google's own magic on the chip for AI learning and all those things. In day-to-day performance, it's very fluid, handles this smartphone very well. I did not notice any lag or anything on this smartphone. So the chip is handling everything, but one thing I noticed is that when I was heavily using this phone, the backslide, this area, this is the metallic rim that we have over here, this can get slightly warm. It didn't get uncomfortably hot or something, but can get actually warm while using. It's too early to talk about the battery life on this one. Earlier this morning I started actively using this smartphone, and right now it's almost 6 o'clock and it's at 60%, but mostly it was on Wi-Fi. So looks like the battery is going to handle the stuff on this one. And if we look at the battery usage, as you can see, so if I go for usage, so screen on 3 hours 20 minutes and still at 60%. So should be able to give about 6.5 hours of SOT on this one. But the only thing is that charging, guys, as I've told you, it's just 18 watts of charging, even if you use a fast PD charger. So there I feel again Google is doing a cost cutting, because the regular 6 and the 6 Pro can go up to 30 watts. So that is again something I did not like. But in terms of in-hand feel, this definitely feels like a premium smartphone. Even if I compare it to the Pixel 4a, the Pixel 4a did not feel as premium as this one. This feels very premium. But again, I'm sure that Google is going to charge a premium for this one, at least in India. So overall, I like this smartphone. But now if we talk about the camera, some of you might be disappointed in terms of specs, because the main sensor, that's a Sony sensor 12.2, that's IMX363, is not a very new sensor. In fact, this was used in earlier Pixel smartphone, older Pixel smartphone. So they did improve the sensor, but again, due to the after image processing, again we know Pixel does that really well. So the pics actually come out very good. And again, this is the typical camera interface that we get. Let me see if and it's fast, very fast, and you also get that ultra wide on this one. Ultra wide is not super wide, but it does the job. This 2x is actually, guys, digital zoom, not optical zoom. The front facing is just 8 megapixel on this one. And again, as you can see, you can also use the zoom function a little bit. But let me do one thing. Let me actually show you some sample shots so that you get a better idea. samples from the rear facing camera, and as you can see in natural lighting it performs very well. In fact, the dynamic range, if you notice, is done excellent on this Pixel smartphone. This is a regular shot and this is ultra wide. One more example, regular shot and this was ultra wide. Moving to human subjects, also the colors are produced well. These shots were taken in portrait bokeh mode. This is taken in the normal mode, and in portrait bokeh mode it zooms in a little bit. Dynamic range, the Pixel does an excellent job. This was a very difficult shot, but it was so easy. This was taken directly with the sun, then also it didn't overexpose. And again, in indoor artificial lighting, as expected, it did a very good job. But these shots were taken in very low lighting conditions, and here, as expected, here is where Pixel actually excels. Now moving to the front facing camera, though it's just a 8 megapixel front facing camera, but as you can see it performed very well, and even in portrait mode, as you can see, it is actually doing a very good job. Recording this with the rear facing camera, and you can set it at 4K. I've set it to 4K. By default it will be at 1080p, guys, and looks like it's doing actually pretty good in terms of stabilization even in 4K, so that's pretty good. Let me just walk back. I'm just walking normally, guys, and you can even switch to the ultra wide while shooting the video, so you don't have to stop that. As you can see, this is ultra wide. Let me switch back to the normal mode, as you can see, and you can even go the 2x digital zoom, so that's actually pretty nice. So this was a sample with the 4K video recording. Recording this sample with the front facing camera of this Pixel 6a, and as you can see, guys, I'm just walking around this vlog style video, and the framing is good. It's not cropping too much, or it's not super wide also, but as you can see, it's handling stuff well, and the audio is also being recorded via its internal microphone. So do let me know what do you feel about the same. So guys, this was the Pixel 6a smartphone's initial impressions. Overall, I would say I like this smartphone. I just don't know the pricing, but I feel if it's around 40,000, there is a definitely very high premium, and many of you might be disappointing, and I can completely understand that. Some of the things that I did not like on this smartphone is that only 128 gigabytes of storage. There's no expansion or anything, and also that 60 hertz refresh rate at this price point is very hard to digest, because at this price point we are getting most of the smartphones of course with the AMOLED screen, but they come with 120 hertz, and some of them even come with 144 hertz. So seeing a 60 hertz refresh rate is slightly disappointing, I would say. But apart from that, if we look at the positives, if you don't look at the price point, but if you look at the positives, if you're a Pixel fan, yes, you have that, still have that premium Pixel experience on this one, clean experience. Of course, regarding updates also, you don't have to worry. Google is committing next 5 years of security updates for this smartphone. And of course, it has the Titan M2 chip. This might not be a big deal for casual user, but let's say if you're working in corporate environment or something, that security that is offered with the M2 chip, that can be a good thing. And also I like the stereo speakers. Again, best in class stereo speakers under 40,000, I would say. Amazing speakers. The haptic feedback is also very good on this smartphone. And again, you are also getting that Tensor chip, which was used in the what's your Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro. But certainly, again, it's a hard pill to swallow at about 40,000 or so. But what do you guys feel about this Pixel 6a? I'll also be posting an in-depth review of this smartphone after using it as my primary smartphone a week or so. So if you have any specific questions regarding this Pixel 6a, do let me know in the comment section below. And guys, if you're still not subscribed to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, guys.